Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop forcing something to happen, it almost magically begins to unfold on its own? That's not an accident. That's the beginning of a quantum shift. The harder you push, the more resistance you often create, not just in your body and mind, but in the energetic field around you. Every time you overthink, stress, or obsess about an outcome, you're essentially broadcasting to the universe that you don't trust it. This lack of trust creates tension, and tension blocks flow. But the second you let go, truly let go, you enter alignment with the quantum field where infinite possibilities exist. It's like trying to fall asleep. The harder you try, the more awake you feel. Yet when you relax, close your eyes, and surrender, sleep arrives on its own. This is the same with manifestation, transformation, and every breakthrough. The quantum shift doesn't reward effort, it rewards alignment. And alignment is born in stillness, surrender, and trust. When people hear the phrase, "Stop trying so hard," they often mistake it for laziness or giving up. But in reality, it's about shifting from force to flow. Force is exhausting because it depends only on your limited self, your effort, your willpower, your resources. Flow, on the other hand, taps into something much bigger. The intelligence of the universe, the invisible currents of energy that are always guiding you toward what's meant for you. Imagine rowing upstream versus letting the current carry you. Both might get you somewhere, but one leaves you drained, while the other allows you to enjoy the journey. A quantum shift happens when you stop rowing against the current of your own life. It's about learning that surrender is not weakness. It's the highest form of trust. When you shift into flow, you're no longer fighting reality, you're partnering with it. And that's when the miracles show up. Think of all the times in your life when something incredible happened, out of nowhere. Maybe you ran into the perfect person at the right time, landed a job opportunity you didn't even apply for, or received exactly what you needed in a completely unexpected way. Those weren't accidents. Those were quantum shifts. They happened precisely because you weren't obsessively chasing, controlling, or micromanaging the outcome. You were simply living, open, and receptive, which allowed the universe to move on your behalf. When you stop trying so hard, you create space. And in that space, reality can rearrange itself to surprise you. This is why so many spiritual masters teach the art of letting go. The paradox is clear: the less you cling, the more you receive. The less you push, the more you're carried. That's the essence of the quantum shift. Outcomes that feel effortless, as if life itself is conspiring to help you. Science is now catching up with what mystics have known for centuries: reality responds to consciousness. In quantum physics, particles don't exist in fixed positions until they're observed. Instead, they exist as waves of probability, infinite potential waiting to take shape. The same principle applies to your life. When you're tense, fearful, or over-controlling, you collapse your possibilities into a narrow, limited outcome. But when you're relaxed, open, and trusting, you allow infinite probabilities to align and choose the best one for you. The act of not trying so hard is actually a shift in consciousness, from fear to trust, from control to surrender. It doesn't mean you stop acting. It means your actions come from alignment rather than desperation. And when action is backed by alignment, the results are quantum, not linear. They appear faster, smoother, and in ways logic can't explain. Here's the thing: your nervous system is the gatekeeper of your reality. When you're constantly trying, you're in survival mode. Your body is flooded with stress hormones, your brain is locked in tunnel vision, and your energy field is tight and restricted. In that state, you're not open to inspiration, intuition, or divine guidance. You're too busy surviving to thrive. But when you stop forcing and start trusting, your nervous system shifts into a state of safety. Your body relaxes, your mind expands, and suddenly, new ideas, people, and opportunities flow into your life. This isn't wishful thinking. It's biology meeting quantum law. A regulated nervous system creates coherence, and coherence is the frequency the universe responds to. That's why the quantum shift feels so magical. It's not magic, it's alignment. You stop being at war with reality, and instead, you become a magnet for everything you once chased. One of the biggest myths in personal growth is that success only comes through relentless effort. We've been conditioned to believe that if we're not grinding, hustling, and pushing ourselves to the limit, we won't achieve anything worthwhile. But this mindset is rooted in fear and scarcity, not truth. Think about nature. A flower doesn't struggle to bloom, a river doesn't force itself to flow, and the sun doesn't try to rise. They simply do, because that's their nature. The same is true for you. When you stop trying so hard, you return to your natural rhythm, your authentic vibration. In that state, everything you desire begins to unfold with a sense of ease. The irony is, when you stop forcing, you actually become more productive, more creative, and more magnetic. Why? Because your energy is no longer wasted on resistance. Instead, it's channeled into alignment, and alignment always outperforms effort. The quantum shift is not about doing nothing. It's about doing from a different state of being. If you've ever worked on a project when you felt inspired, you know how different it feels compared to working when you're drained or stressed. Inspiration carries you, stress drags you. This is why people talk about flow state. It's the point where effort dissolves and creation becomes effortless. When you stop trying so hard, you naturally invite flow. You begin to act from inspiration rather than obligation, and that subtle shift changes everything. Suddenly, you're in sync with timing, opportunities seem to find you, and doors open without you needing to push them. This is not just luck, it's the science of resonance. The frequency you radiate determines the experiences you attract. And when you radiate ease, trust, and openness, you attract experiences that match those vibrations. Another key aspect of the quantum shift is detachment. Most people obsess over the how and when of their desires. How will it happen? When will it happen? What if it doesn't? But this obsession is precisely what blocks the outcome. Imagine planting a seed in the soil and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. That seed will never have a chance to take root. Your dreams work the same way. When you constantly check, stress, and overanalyze, you suffocate the process. But when you release the need to control, you create space for growth. Detachment is not indifference, it's confidence. It's saying, I've planted the seed, I've done my part, and now I trust the universe to handle the rest. That trust is what allows quantum leaps to occur, because the less you interfere, the more space there is for miracles. Think of your life like a radio. Every thought, emotion, and action broadcasts a frequency, and the universe responds to whatever station you're tuned into. When you're in a state of trying too hard, your frequency is one of desperation, lack, and fear. And what does the universe do? It mirrors that back to you in the form of more struggle, more waiting, more obstacles. But when you shift into a state of ease and trust, your frequency changes instantly. You begin broadcasting abundance, openness, and possibility, and the universe mirrors that too, sending you synchronicities, opportunities, and blessings. The radio station you're tuned into determines the music you hear. In the same way, the frequency you embody determines the life you experience. The quantum shift is the moment you stop broadcasting resistance and start transmitting flow, and life responds accordingly. One of the most powerful examples of quantum shifts comes from relationships. Have you ever noticed how love often finds you when you stop searching for it? People spend years chasing, swiping, and forcing connections, only to end up drained and disappointed. But then, one day, when they least expect it, love shows up, in a cafe, through a friend, or in a random encounter. Why? Because they stopped trying so hard. They shifted from desperation to authenticity, from force to flow. That's when they became magnetic. The same principle applies to money, health, and opportunities. When you chase, things run. When you relax, things arrive. This is not just a cute saying, it's a universal law. The moment you stop grasping, the moment you stop over-efforting, The universe finally has space to deliver what's already yours. That's when the quantum shift happens, not in the chase, but in the stillness that follows surrender. The deeper truth about a quantum shift is that it isn't about getting something outside of you. It's about unlocking what's already within you. When you try too hard, you're operating from the belief that you're missing something, that you need to fight for it, chase it, or earn it. But when you stop trying so hard, you realize that everything you've been chasing is already encoded in your vibration. The universe doesn't respond to your words or your struggles, it responds to your energy. And when your energy says, "I already have it, I already am it," life has no choice but to mirror that truth back to you. That's why the quantum shift feels like an inner click. A moment of remembering rather than achieving. It's less about striving for the future and more about aligning with the truth of the now. So many people misunderstand surrender as weakness, but it's the opposite. Weakness is when you cling in fear because you don't trust life to support you. Strength is when you let go and allow yourself to be carried by something greater. It takes courage to stop trying so hard because it means facing the silence, facing the uncertainty, and trusting the unknown. But this is exactly where the magic lies. In quantum mechanics, the unknown is the space of infinite possibility. When you stop demanding certainty and embrace the unknown, you open yourself up to realities that were invisible before. You stop settling for what you can force and instead allow what is truly aligned. This is why surrender is the doorway to quantum shifts. It moves you from a life of survival to a life of miracles. And miracles are never forced, they are received. Here's a practical truth forcing blocks creativity. Have you ever sat down to write, paint, or solve a problem, and the harder you tried, the less progress you made? Then, after taking a break, going for a walk, or simply relaxing, the solution or inspiration appeared effortlessly. That's the quantum shift in action. Creativity doesn't come from tension. It comes from openness. The human brain is most innovative when it's relaxed and in a state of curiosity. This is why breakthroughs often happen in the shower, on a walk, or in moments of daydreaming. When you stop trying so hard, your mind enters a state of flow where new ideas can emerge. In this way, surrender isn't just spiritual advice, it's neurological reality. The less pressure you put on yourself, the more space you give your higher mind to connect with the infinite field of possibilities. Another layer of the quantum shift is timing. So many people exhaust themselves trying to make things happen right now. But the truth is, divine timing is always perfect. The universe is orchestrating billions of moving pieces behind the scenes to align opportunities, people, and circumstances. When you're forcing, you're essentially saying, "I don't trust the timing, so I'll push until it happens." But this only creates resistance. When you relax and trust, you allow timing to unfold naturally, and often, the outcome is better than anything you could have forced. Think of it like baking a cake. If you take it out of the oven too soon, it collapses. But if you trust the process and give it the time it needs, it comes out perfect. The same is true for your dreams. Stop trying so hard to rush them, and you'll see they arrive exactly when they're meant to. The beauty of the quantum shift is that it teaches you the art of balance. Life is not about never acting, nor is it about exhausting yourself with effort. It's about inspired action, the kind of action that feels joyful, light, and natural. This is the middle path between laziness and force. When you stop trying so hard, you don't sit back and do nothing. Instead, you listen more deeply. You become sensitive to intuition, to synchronicities, to the subtle nudges guiding you. And then, when action is required, it feels effortless because it's aligned. This is why successful people often say their biggest breakthroughs didn't come from struggle but from inspiration. The quantum shift is not about abandoning effort. It's about transforming effort into play, work into flow, and struggle into surrender. That's when life stops being a battle and starts being a dance. When you stop trying so hard, you discover the power of presence. Most of us are so focused on the future. the goal, the result, the outcome. That we miss the richness of the moment we're in. But the quantum field doesn't respond to your future. It responds to your now. The energy you embody in this moment is what ripples outward and shapes your reality. When you're desperate, the future you create reflects desperation. When you're at peace, the future you create reflects peace. Presence is not just mindfulness, it's mastery. It's the art of being so fully in the moment that time dissolves and you merge with flow. And in that state, quantum shifts occur naturally, because you are no longer splitting your energy between what is and what you wish would be. You're embodying your wholeness now, and reality has no choice but to match it. One of the most liberating truths is that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone, not even the universe. Trying too hard often comes from a place of feeling unworthy, as if you have to earn love, success, or abundance. But worthiness is not something you earn, it's something you remember. When you stop trying to prove yourself, you free your energy to simply be yourself. And paradoxically, that authenticity makes you magnetic. People can feel when you're genuine versus when you're performing for approval. The universe works the same way. It responds to your true vibration, not the mask you wear. The quantum shift happens the moment you realize you are already enough, exactly as you are. From that place of worthiness, your desires don't come from lack, they come from overflow. And overflow always attracts more, because it's rooted in abundance, not scarcity. Resistance is the greatest barrier to manifestation, and resistance is born from over-efforting. Imagine clenching your fist tightly. Nothing can enter your hand. But the moment you relax your grip, space opens, and something new can be placed inside. Your energy works the same way. When you're constantly grasping, clinging, and forcing, your energetic fist is closed. Nothing new can enter. But when you let go, you open yourself to receive. This is why "Stop trying so hard" is not passive advice, it's the most practical guidance for creating space in your life. Space is the canvas where miracles are painted. Space is where intuition flows. Space is where alignment happens. And when you finally allow space instead of filling every moment with stress and effort, the quantum shift arrives. Effortlessly, gracefully, and often faster than you imagined. The quantum shift also teaches us the value of trust in ourselves. When you're over-affording, it's usually because you don't trust your own ability to handle life as it unfolds. You feel you must control every variable, manage every detail, and fight for every inch. But when you stop trying so hard, you discover an inner strength that was hidden beneath the noise of effort. You realize that you are capable of handling whatever arises, not because you control it, but because you adapt to it. This trust in yourself mirrors trust in the universe, creating a feedback loop of empowerment. Suddenly, you're not pushing against life, you're dancing with it. And this dance feels like freedom. The kind of freedom that doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to chase, and doesn't need to force. It simply is. And in that ness, everything you desire flows to you. Here's the ultimate paradox. The moment you stop trying so hard is the moment you finally get what you wanted all along. It's almost comical how life works that way. You chase love, and it runs. You relax, and you hustle for money, and it feels scarce. You align, and abundance appears. You force success, and it slips away. You surrender, and doors open with ease. This isn't punishment or reward, it's resonance. The universe is simply responding to your state of being. Trying too hard is a signal of lack. Surrender is a signal of trust, and trust is magnetic. That's why people who appear calm, grounded, and centered often attract more opportunities than those who are constantly chasing. The quantum shift is not about becoming someone new, it's about returning to your natural state. A state of trust, openness, and flow where life finally works with you instead of against you. Another secret of the quantum shift is that it frees you from the illusion of control. The truth is, you never had control over life's timing, people's choices, or the billions of unseen factors shaping every moment. What you do control is your vibration, your state of being. and your willingness to flow with life rather than fight it. When you stop trying so hard, you release the heavy burden of control and step into lightness. Suddenly, you're no longer drained by micromanaging every detail, you're energized by the beauty of watching life unfold. This is where joy returns. Control is exhausting because it keeps you in constant hypervigilance. Trust is liberating because it allows you to rest in the knowing that what's meant for you cannot pass you. The quantum shift happens when you choose trust over control. And from that choice, peace becomes your baseline. One of the most overlooked aspects of the quantum shift is gratitude. When you're busy trying so hard, you're often focused on what you don't have. Your mind is always chasing the next thing, the next achievement, the next validation. But when you stop trying, you begin to notice what's already here. Gratitude anchors you in the frequency of abundance. It tells the universe, I see what I have, I appreciate it, and I'm open to more. This vibration of appreciation is one of the most magnetic states you can embody. It transforms your energy instantly. Instead of radiating lack, you radiate fullness, and fullness attracts more fullness. That's why gratitude is often the hidden key to manifestation. The quantum shift is less about chasing the future and more about honoring the present. And the more you honor what is, the more life gives you to celebrate. The journey of stopping effort isn't always easy, because society has conditioned us to believe hustle is noble and rest is laziness. But the deeper truth is that hustle without alignment is wasted energy, while rest in trust is powerful creation. Learning to stop trying so hard requires unlearning years of conditioning. It requires courage to step out of the cycle of proving and into the flow of being. But once you taste the ease of alignment, you'll never want to go back. You'll realize that everything you've ever desired was waiting for you. Not at the end of struggle, but at the beginning of surrender. The quantum shift is not just about creating results, it's about creating a new way of living. A way where ease replaces struggle, trust replaces fear, and alignment replaces exhaustion. This is not fantasy. It's the natural state of being you were born to live. Imagine waking up each morning no longer asking, what do I need to force today? But instead asking, how can I align today? That simple question changes everything. Alignment leads you to inspired action, synchronicities, and effortless results. Force leads you to burnout, frustration, and endless waiting. The quantum shift happens when you make this subtle but radical change in how you live. It's not about doing more, it's about being more. Being present, being open, being trusting. From that state, the right opportunities flow, the right people appear, and the right timing unfolds. Life becomes lighter, freer, more magical. And the best part, you realize that this was never about chasing something external. The quantum shift was always about you, about shifting your energy, your trust, and your willingness to let go. When you do, life rearranges itself in your favor. In the end, the message is simple but life-changing. Quantum shifts don't come when you try harder, they come when you try less. They arrive when you stop gripping, stop forcing, and stop exhausting yourself in the pursuit of what's already yours. The quantum field is infinite, but it responds to ease, not struggle. It rewards trust, not desperation, and it magnifies alignment, not resistance. So the next time you feel stuck, instead of pushing harder, take a breath. Step back. Remember that the river flows without your effort, the seasons change without your control, and the universe is already working on your behalf. Your only job is to align, to trust, and to allow. That's when the quantum shift happens. When you stop trying so hard and finally let life carry you into the reality you were meant to experience all along.